by adding information about the invoice, online commodity items, for accounting data for those commodities, and also how to copy an existing invoice. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create an invoice by adding information about the invoice, the commodity items, accounting data for those commodities, and also how to copy an existing invoice. The new invoice option is on the invoice menu. You can select the customer name or the customer ID. The two lists are synchronized, so when you pick an item from one, the other field is filled in for you. The ID for the customer I selected is inserted into the field. Likewise, if you selected a customer ID, the customer name is filled in for you, and I will open the list to show you. The credit against list is populated only if there are invoice amounts owing for the selected customer. If you are creating a credit note, select the outstanding invoice from the list. In the attention field, type the name of the person receiving the invoice. If there are multiple addresses for the customer, you have the option to change it. The invoice date defaults to today's date. You can select a different date by clicking the calendar icon. The selected date is validated against an open period. The due date is used for travel invoices, and by selecting a date, a different prefix is assigned so it can be identified as a travel invoice. Please note that this is an institution-specific setting. If required, you can enter the PO number. Select a department. Please note that as a decentralized user, the only departments in the list are ones that are assigned to you. The default currency is Canadian, but you can select a different type. When you are done, you can click Save. The button is located conveniently at the top and the bottom of the form. After you have saved the invoices, these are the changes on the form. The number has been applied to the invoice. The information icon now displays, and you can move your mouse over that icon to view details about who created the invoice. If you do not select a due date, the field is removed from the invoice. Two new sections have opened, the Detail Commodity area and the Accounting Information. You can use the navigation buttons at the bottom of the screen to view other in-progress invoices. If you are a decentralized or external user, a checkbox opens at the bottom of the page called "This invoice is ready to be printed and posted." Other options include the Additional Information icon, which you can click to add invoice-specific notes. The Attachments icon is enabled on the navigation toolbar. And now I am going to add commodity details for this invoice. Type a description of the commodity item to a limit of 4,000 characters, and then tab or click into the next field. Type the number of items for this commodity, and then the price for one item. I am going to add another commodity line, so I am going to click the Save icon with a plus sign beside it. If you are just doing one commodity line, you can click the plain Save icon. Before I can finish the invoice, the accounting information must be entered. Codes are automatically inserted from the customer record, but they can be changed. You can leave the amount blank, and when you save the line, it is automatically calculated to match the total of all commodity items. I am only using one accounting line, but you can split it into more than one. Now that the invoice is finished, I am going to select the checkbox to submit it for printing and posting. As a reminder, this checkbox will only display for decentralized users. Note that the commodity and accounting sections are grayed out and the Save button is now a different color. Please note that the invoice will no longer be available for editing by you after you click the Save button. And where is the invoice now? It has been moved to the Print Invoices page so that it can be printed. If you are an external user or an external super user and you have the AR Print Invoice role, you can go to this page and print the invoice. Please see the tutorial about printing invoices. Another option you have is to copy an invoice instead of creating one from scratch. Just open an existing invoice, copy it, and then make minor changes. Type the invoice number if you know it, or search for it. Click Preview to see the invoice details. If the original invoice has an attachment, you can select the checkbox to make sure it is copied. And then all you have to do is click the Copy Invoice button. And this invoice has a new number, and depending on the setting at your institution, the original invoice date or today's date is inserted.